I'm speaking today with Sabrina Gill Kent. She's the Senior Vice President of a group called the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce based in Washington, D.C. We're going to talk about a program that they have called LGBT Certification for Businesses and part of their Supplier Diversity Initiative. And with us as well is Brent Zeigler, AIA, IIDA. Brent's the president and principal of Dyer Brown, an architecture firm based in Boston with office in Atlanta as well, right, Brent? Right. And Brent's firm recently joined the Supplier Diversity Initiative at the NGLCC, as it's known, and we're going to talk about that. So, Sabrina, I don't think our audience is familiar with the LGBT certification. There are some other certifications and so forth, many other certifications in our business, but tell us what this is and what's involved in getting LGBT certified as a business.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, we often joke that certified LGBT business enterprise certification is the best kept secret in the LGBT business community. And the whole premise is that companies that are 51% or more LGBT owned, operated, and controlled, like Dyer Brown, have the opportunity to become certified as LGBT business enterprises through the NGLCC, and therefore gain access to contracting opportunities with our corporate partners. We work with over half of the Fortune 500, now actually more than half, 300 of the Fortune 500 and multinational companies that are looking to do business with LGBT suppliers because they are LGBT, to diversify their own supply chains. And then beyond that, through our certified network of almost 1,600 certified businesses, we are then able to also pair our LGBT businesses with one another to do business, or to even team up on contracts. So the whole premise is about creating opportunity for the LGBT business owner.
Very interesting. Yeah, as Brent knows, there are certain other enterprise-related special groups, minority hiring, particularly for construction firms, women, WBE, women business owner firms, and so forth, veterans, disabled, and so forth. Very strong with the construction companies in particular. But this is new, you're right. I hadn't heard about it until very recently, so that's why we're doing this. And so you've got the business has to be at least 51% minority owned. Any other rules, Sabrina, for certification?
So yeah, so it's the majority operation, ownership, and control, and it is modeled off of those certifications that you just mentioned. So we modeled our certification off of WBENC's, the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, WBE certification. We came on the scene in 2002, and we said, hey, what about the LGBT business owners? So we work very closely with our sister diverse chambers of commerce. We launched the National Business Inclusion Consortium in 2011, which is spearheaded by NGLCC, but includes WBENC, the Women's Chamber, NMSDC, the U.S. Black Chambers, U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, U.S. Pan Asian American Chamber, NAVOBA for veteran-owned businesses, Disability In, Women Impacting Public Policy, and more. And so together we sort of comprise this group of cross-segment business leaders. And the whole idea is LGBT business owners, we're not just LGBT, we're women, persons of color, veterans, persons with disabilities, and so much more. And we deserve to be counted in all of that glory, and not just confining ourselves to one segment.
All right. Well, Brett, tell us, you recently, in the last couple of years, assumed ownership of your firm from Roger Shepley. I mean, you've got a strong place in Boston, architectural history, and you and Rachel Woodhouse are now the owners. Why did you choose to do this, to get LGBT certification from the, I got to say it, NGLCC? I got to say that right. Tell us your story, please.
So I think this really came into play as part of a bigger diversity initiative. You know, we all know what's going on in the country around, minorities. And I think when we look at our firm, we are a very heavily woman we have a lot of female employees, and we're very, we lean very heavily female. And we see the NGLCC certification tied into that bigger picture, as Sabrina was just saying, that I actually had guilt because on my own, on 2 of 3 fronts, I'm very privileged. I have white privilege and I'm a male.
Mhm.
On another front, I'm not. I'm a gay man. And when I walk into a boardroom with people that I'm pitching to, I never know how that is going to land. I don't know whether there is going to be, and going through this process is what made me really come to terms with this and realize that there is a reason for this, that there is a bigger, that getting this certification is part of a bigger picture. So we have an internal DEI initiative where we're building, this is part of a building block. So as we look at the next generation.
DDI meaning diversity and help me out.
Equity and inclusion. Yeah,
Okay.
diversity, equity, and inclusion. So this is a part of a bigger building block because we, as we look at our future generations of ownership, we will probably be female owned in the next generation. So leveraging what we can right now helps us do good for other minority organizations or other minority groups, people of color, women. And so that's how it really played into a bigger story for us.
Okay. So just give us some of the details. I mean, how long did it take? What does it cost?
I think
Sabrina really hard to work with to get it done. Come on, give us the dirt. Come on, Brent.
The NGLCC and everyone that we've engaged with with their organization has been fantastic. They've been a very proactive organization, actively looking for opportunities for us and actively looking to help their members. But the process, I think, took about 6 months. There's definitely some documentation, legal documents, and firm history that need to be provided, but none of it is onerous.
What's the cost, Sabrina?
Yeah, so I would just add to that, it really also depends on the makeup of the business that's getting certified, right? If you're sole proprietorship, for example, it would take you maybe 30 days just from the point of submitting your paperwork to getting to a meeting. The cost, there is no fee to become certified. The model is we have over 50 local affiliate chambers across the US. And we say your membership is local, your certification is national. Those affiliates are not operated by NGLCC. So for example, Brent would become a member of the Massachusetts LGBT Chamber of Commerce. And in providing proof of membership to the Massachusetts Chamber, certification is therefore waived. Now, if somebody chose for whatever reason, which we encourage them not to, but if they chose for whatever reason not to go to their local affiliate, it would be a $400 fee for a 2-year certification term.
So it's really minimal. I mean, this is not going to be a big deal. Brent, so I mean, the basic idea is to alert people. And you've gone public with this. I mean, I understand there are some architecture firms or design firms or people that are kind of in our business, Brent, who have been certified through NGLCC, but have not made a big deal out of it. You've gone public with it. What's your goal there, and any results from the networking?
Yeah. So first on the kind of publicizing it, we talk a lot internally about that, there is homophobia out there.
Really? I haven't heard of it, really. Yeah, it's amazing.
And there could be negative repercussions. You never know who you're going into the room with.
Yeah.
But I think in being part of the solution and in being part of making this not an issue in the future, part of that is being very open about it. And part of that is being very public about it and being a 51-year-old firm with a long Boston history. We do work nationally. We've got a great reputation. And that is, I think we're putting that behind this effort. And I think it's really important for people to be out there with it. And I think also that we've said, if there are people that have a problem with it, they're probably not the clients we want to work with anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't join any club that would have me as a member, right? Thank you, Groucho. So how long have you been certified?
We got certified, I think it was official in like January or February. So
Okay. Any leads from it so far?
Definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Like
tell
I
us.
said,
I mean, without confidentiality, but how has it worked
yeah,
out?
as Sabrina mentioned, there's a great network of Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies that are our members, and the NGC has also set up some kind of speed dating, speed networking events that we took part in. And that can go both ways. We can request to meet with a company, or the company who may know that they're looking for new partners, new architectural and interior design partners, can request those. And that process was very, very fruitful for us. We made a lot of connections. Also, many of the large corporations out there have a supplier diversity officer, or someone who is really working with their procurement to make sure that they're bringing on, a range of different types of companies from different minority groups into their procurement process. And so we have registered with many of those, and they ask about NGLCC certification.
Okay, great.
So that's opened a lot of doors, and I think for us the most important thing is opening doors. We know that we have the history and the competence and the design chops to get to the finish line, but many times that opening of doors is the most important thing, and that's what's been
hardest part of any business. Sabrina, do you have any sense of how many say architecture firms, engineering, kind of people in the construction firms in the construction business are part of the supplier diversity initiative and perhaps even received certification? Do you have any feel for that? Is it a popular, or is it a reasonable segment?
It's popular and it's growing. While I don't have the exact number in front of me, I would say that it's probably getting close to 15 to 20% of our overall supply base, which is why we launched 2 or 3 years ago, we launched our Construction and Related Services Council to specifically focus on those opportunities in the industry, so that not only is limited to construction, but also energy and utilities and beyond. So we're really seeing this sector.
How do my audience members get involved with that? You actually have a council of Brent, are you part of that?
By being a business, by being a certified business that's included in NGLC, you then are invited to take part in the Construction Related Services Council. Okay. Or by being a corporate partner, for example, that's procuring in those spaces. But another piece that Brent mentioned, we absolutely do the matchmaking and other educational and networking opportunities. Another thing that we have is our engagement center, and that's our 24/7, nearly, I guess, maybe 12/7, 365 connection center, where we're constantly matching our qualified suppliers with corporate bids. So this year alone, we've had over 405 requests for proposals come through from corporate partners asking us to pair LGBTBEs. So what we'll do is, if company X is looking for an architectural services firm and they have certain parameters they need to meet, we will reach out to all of the architectural services firms in our database. And if we have enough time, otherwise we'll just pull that list and send that list. Otherwise, we'll reach out to companies like Brent's and say, hey, can you do X, Y, or Z? If the answer is yes, we will put your name forward. So we're doing that preliminary step of vetting, which is a huge piece for these companies that have to comb through dozens and dozens of databases with hundreds of thousands of firms that can fulfill these bids. But we are handing them qualified suppliers in a pretty package with a bow, saying reach out to them and they might be able to service your contract.
Fantastic. I think, as you said, Sabrina, you are the unknown that's out there in this area, and let's see, maybe this will open up some doors both for the NGLCC and for firms like Dyer Brown that are becoming certified and being involved in this. So I want to thank both of you, Brent Zeigler from President and Principal of Dyer Brown in Boston and Atlanta, and Sabrina Kent, Senior Vice President of the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce, the NGLCC, for our conversation today. It's been very, very instructive. I'm glad we did this. Some interesting new stuff going on. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.